One
So you're
time
telling me you're a teacher as well?
yes,
Okay.
for sports. Yes. One time I broke it down to where 2018, I went Mengo and I did a 5-year plan for Buganda Kingdom using Kabaka's birthday because I chaired the volleyball one. And I painted the picture. I think there's a footage where the Katikiro got up, Charles Peter Mayiga, and said, I've never seen people who are very passionate about who can break down a sport that goes deeply to a human health. And I will break that to you. So in the process of doing that, I studied the human brain, how it functions, how your body takes in oxygen and uses it every now and then, how the circulation system works. So the doctors will prescribe you medicine and they will operate you. When the doctors are done, they will send you and say you need to go for exercise. They have no idea. They can't even tell you what to do.
Okay.
Now I'm a masterful in that.
Okay. So that's almost like the physiotherapy bit.
Beyond the physiotherapy. Yes, so I look
Okay.
at things from beyond the physio. Because the physio is going to try and wake up the muscles, get the brain to work somehow. They do very small things. Those are very small things for me. I master in something called anatomy of human strength.
Okay.
And another one called muscle hypertrophy. So in simple plain term, I looked at how people cognitively retain information, emotionally are connected to it, what subsequently informed their decision to either accept or reject.
Okay.
If I find what is centered to your core, I will help you to anchor your soul.
This is very interesting. Okay.
Yes. If I find what is centered to your core, I'll help you to anchor your soul. So I can do that when I'm developing a communication strategy for marketing, for any product. Or I can do that when they say Crystal has given up, you have literally 20% to survive. My question would be, is Crystal still breathing? Yes. Does still have strength? Yes. Can she walk? Yes. Bring her to me.
Okay.
So my job is to get a very big, I know we don't want to use the word fat, but it's the reality. So I come from a behavioral change background. It's a reality.
Yeah.
Is to bring you back to normal. If they say that you want, bring me a very small person and I help them build the muscles using their own system, your
Okay.
own system, the way you are. I just make sure you eat food, look well, and do exactly what you're doing. And the processes are very simple. Ingest information, digest information, and appropriate information. 3.
Random question. Do you know David Goggins?
Yes, I read so much
Are you a
about
fan?
this food. I read so
Okay.
much, yes.
Yeah.
So if you ingest information is taking the information being given to you. All right? Digest information is process that information at a very fast speed. I must train your brain to process that information really fast
Okay. Okay.
in microseconds. Then you must appropriate the information, is put the information to action.
Okay.
So I want your brain to respond to a specific stimuli in literally a split second.
So when you say that, people come to you
Yeah.
when they're at that point
Yes.
where they are doing so badly, doctors have given up. Like what kind of cases, like examples can you
So
give
for
us?
example, that's a very good question. For example, a few years ago, I think I can share this story now. So in 2019, around about June, we celebrated my friend's wife's birthday, Onyaito Deke. He lost a wife recently. Immediately after that celebration, we were at somewhere in Kololo, Rinaguru at Rosaho. Very beautiful day. Then 2 days or 5 days later, she fell sick of malaria.
Malaria.
Yes, malaria. Then she was admitted somewhere in Nigeria, I think hospital or something like that, for a few days. But the malaria seems to have hit her a little bit more
Okay.
than usual.
Okay.
Jenny used to have normal headaches. Where you have headaches, people take headaches lightly, but headaches are very serious. You need to know what type of headaches. There are 3 types of headaches. You need to know which one, because some of them are indicator of something bigger.
Okay.
Yes. So, but then it became normal. Now, because she had been working with me at some point and I was training her as a leadership coach, she actually worked with her during the KCCA Wayonja work, developing of that communication strategy for sanitation in Kampala. Then she got out of the hospital and started feeling weird. She goes back to work. Before I know it, one day she started saying, "Oh, Eddie, people like laughing. When I do things and I'm working out, people just laugh. They say, oh, it's very difficult." I'm like, this is very easy. You can do it. Anyone can do it, Crystal.
You need to watch these workout videos.
Yes.
But okay.
Yes, very simple stuff. So she would say, "Oh, I'm feeling like I was walking the other day, Eddie, and then I just tripped. My leg, I just feeling pain under my knees. There are two main muscles there, and feeling pain. Okay, I don't feel anything, just tripped." One day she was walking, the cup dropped.
So her coordination is also...
Yes, a problem. I said, I think there's a problem here, but we're taking it lightly. Nakasero diagnoses her with the compressed nerve and start treating her for 2 months. The lady is getting paralyzed on one side, the left side. One day we walk home and before I know it, Jenny is completely paralyzed one side. She can't hold anything on that hand anymore. I said, guys, this has to be something. You cannot treat compressed nerve. And I want to say this, Crystal. There's a big problem we have here. I like medicine. I like to respect everyone in a prescription medication. It's a good profession. It's a good stuff. They save lives. But sometimes we don't.
Yeah, I think
What
I keep hearing about is the wrong diagnosis. Happens to so many people.
And it's something I want to teach people in this country and anyone in Africa is critical thinking. Analyze things using 5 parts. So Jenny was treated for compressed nerve. She wasn't even presenting any pain at all. Compressed nerve means...
It's very painful. Yeah, yes.
It means that the disc has moved.
And your nerve
and now nerves is being pressed and is trying to transport in fluid. That path is very painful.
I know. I had nerve damage in my feet.
Exactly.
It was...
So imagine somebody's treating you, but unbeknown to this lady, very innocently ignorant about what was going on.
She was just taking the medicine.
She was just being told, oh, the pain is going to come at some point, take this medicine. Crystal, I woke up one day, I questioned this. The next 2 weeks, next 1 week, in fact, it was a Sunday when I questioned, I said, we need to do an MRI. I suspect this is something to do with the brain. The MRI comes back, the results come back on us Monday, and Mulago says, sorry, you got 2 weeks to live. Just the way they gave her the message, she dropped down. It took 3 months to just get her back up. The way I give you information is very important.
Yeah.
Jenny was given 2 weeks to live. Odeke's life changed. This is a happy family, everything was okay, happy family, life changed. So when everyone had failed, I have always wanted to prove a point to prescription medication because they said I was going to be the same. So I studied so much things that don't make sense to you, Crystal. Even if I explain it to you, it won't make sense to you.
So it's like the power of yourself to heal yourself, the body.
Yes, so you are studying. So me, I was doing it to look for information. Is it true that at one point maybe I will be paralyzed or something is going to happen to me? I want to know. I don't want anyone to just tell me this. But along the way, I discovered so much in the world of medicine that we don't know. In the process, I called a doctor. Dr. Sen Senyonjo is a very good friend of mine. I said, everybody said no. He studied one of Uganda's best neurosurgeons, I would say, with the lowest mortality rate. I know top 6 neurosurgeons in Uganda, but he's among them. Now, when we say low mortality rate, is that when you operate the person, chances of them surviving are very high. Then this one who operated the person says, this one I don't think. So that's what Senyonjo. I called him. We had a meeting. I said, Senyonjo, even if this lady is going to go, I want to know. They said you have a mass swelling in the brain. We don't know what it is. And we can't tell, but we think it's cancer at a very advanced stage. You don't have enough time. It's sitting near your brain stem. It was a good opportunity for me to do my R&D again. Crystal, you were asking a question. At what point do they bring that person? They brought her and laid her on my table. She fell on my chest. I was in a meeting and just started crying and just laid down on the table. We didn't know what to do. There and then we concocted juice. I walked to Endiro with my friend called Ochom, who was their best man, and bought juice. Said, guys, relax. We're going to have to find out what the problem is. That afternoon, we went to case clinic. We met Senyonjo. Senyonjo said, okay, fine. I don't know what it is, but you need to go to Nairobi and do a specialized scan of the brain. We don't have anyone here. Right now, this lady can't fly. The only place to do this is either Aga Khan or...
Nairobi Hospital?
No, Aga Khan Hospital. Either Aga Khan Hospital in Nairobi or South Africa, or you go to Egypt. She can't fly in any of those. We had insurance. The husband was just started work there. She was working at Phoenix. He had insurance. Let me tell you, Crystal, you can have all the money in this world, but if you don't have information, you're as good as the person who don't have any money. We got there. That was 2 weeks. I'm answering your question. 2 weeks given to leave. And I said, I want to see if this, even though this lady is going, I want to make sure we... Let me tell you, we left there. Senyon gave us a referral because we needed it. We ended up, I drove my Primo one night and never driven to Nairobi.
You drove to Nairobi?
Drove to Nairobi. So I calculated everything, altitude, what we need, the pressure in the brain, and we agreed the best car she needed. Me, I was looking for 4x4. It was my Primo. That's the first time I fell in love with the Primo. So when Edgar Batel Monitor wrote a story about my Primo and how clean and what it was, they have no idea. That Primo took that lady to Nairobi. We arrived. I didn't know the road. We got lost. I just gave her juice and she slept. Somehow God was on our side, and we arrived in Nairobi in the morning, about 1 o'clock. We did the scan. When I arrived in Nairobi, I said, name for me. I want top 5 neurosurgeons in Nairobi. I want to see them. I don't want neurologists. I want top 5 neurosurgeons. I want to talk to them. People with the toppest mind for brain. And I zeroed down to 3. And I got 1. He said, they had told us here that we cannot do anything at all, just 2 weeks. Crystal, in 4 days in Nairobi, I was using critical thinking, 5 parts, relationship between the parts, and then asking the doctors. And I said, before we do any action, I want us to lay the strategy of how we're going to go about it. Yes, you know this part, I know this part, let's go. No one ever gave that woman any food except the time she was admitted in the hospital. I was in charge of the diet until she died. Until she died. But you'll never hear Okila as the toppest dietitian in this country. You never hear. Because it's not my part to go and share, and I don't want it. So what I did, when we went to Nairobi, we discovered something wasn't there. They did sort of like, they did a biopsy, drilling the brain, and we got the part of the brain. We discovered that she had a brain tumor. Where was it? Next to the brain stem. We got a sample space, went to Germany. We stayed in Nairobi for 3 months. In those 3 months, my job was to make sure she kept walking every single day until we were able to go for an operation.
Okay.
And we...
Imagine coming home to a vacation each day, to a place of pure serenity, a place of pure luxury for you to entertain and unwind. At Jacana Heights, dreams come true. Take your pick from spacious 1, 2, or 3 bedroom apartments and luxurious 4-bedroom penthouses, built to international standards with fine, exceptional finishing. Located on Konge Hill, Buziga, with incredible views and a fresh breeze from the nearby Lake Victoria. It's a place for your body, soul, and mind with a wide array of amenities. Contact us for more information. Jacana Heights, Luxury Hilltop Living.
Now I'm beginning to understand your philosophy in terms of how you work out and even your diet.
Yes.
Because we were talking about the fact that you have one meal a day.
Yeah.
And I remember watching a documentary which was saying that, man, it's so painful for me because I like food, but saying that as human beings, we just eat way too much,
Yeah.
way more than we need. This whole 3 meals a day are not necessary. You're supposed to eat, number one, when you're hungry.
Yes.
Yes, but also, of course, we all know you're supposed to eat the right food.
Yes.
You have 1 meal a day.
I have 1 meal a day, and I've lived that life for the longest of my time.
Yet you work out.
Yes, 3 times. I work out 2 hours a day.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
most people say that you need to eat to give you fuel
Yes, to work out.
to work out. So I need to understand. What's
So
happening.
I'll break it down to you, Crystal. A lot of us have information that are not quite very good to us. And here's the thing. So yes, we need food to function. You need food for your brain to function. I need food for my brain to function. Anybody else who's watching the show need food for their brain to function. But what food are you eating? How much of it are you taking in? Okay, what is the quality of what you're eating? It's like thinking. If you're thinking and your quality of your thoughts are very poor, you're going to end up with a very bad result of your thoughts. Not because somebody has given you poison or anything, it's just all in your brain.
Yeah, all that
Yes.
negativity. Yeah?
Yes. So when you're eating, what is the portion that you're eating? Is that plate balanced? A lot of us heap plate or a plate when we're eating and eat everything on that plate. It's too much that the body doesn't need. Your body needs to receive food. Process it within 1 to 2 hours or to 3 hours maximum. Okay, the normal natural process God has created all of us is, from the studies, is 3 hours. That when you eat food, food must dissolve in 3 hours. What is the process that food we go through for the food to break in a human being? So there's what we call cardiorespiratory capacity building of a human being. Is basically the aerobic capacity of a human being, how our body takes in oxygen, which is respiration, uses that at the cell levels, which is circulation of the blood to the rest of the skin world, and uses that at what we call the cellular levels to create what we call bioenergetics. In plain simple term for everyone else, is just conversion of food to energy,
Okay.
period. Now, when you go through that process, your body needs to be able to process that food. So if your metabolism is very low, you're not going to be able to process that food. So different body types requires different type of food, different amount of food
Yeah.
to be eaten.
There's some people with very high metabolism.
Exactly. My friend Mitch, Mitch can eat 2 plates, 3 plates in a day. We used to laugh. He says, he's a blessed man.
Yeah.
But Mitch will not put on weight.
Yeah.
Because his body processes food very quickly. So even if he puts on weight, he will put on weight because one is aging, then the muscles are slowing down. He's not as active as he was. But I can imagine when he was young, he was eating too much food and not putting on weight.
He would, enjoy
Yes.
his food.
Then there are people whose metabolism are very low.
Yeah.
They need to increase. Now, you need to understand those are totally 2 different type of bodies and systems. Now, if you're going to eat something, eat what your body can produce. Now, personally as Okila, if I take 2 plates of food in a day or a certain amount of food, number 1, I'm going to become very sloppy. Number 2, I'll feel sleepy. Number 3, I'll become very lazy. Number 4, that food is going to stay in me, inside my stomach, for like 6 hours, 7 hours. I don't need it unless I do something.
Okay.
So my productivity as a human being is severely limited. There's no chance in a billion years I am going to be rich or to make money. Because I can only, my making money, ability for me to make money is measured by how my productive hours are used. We are on the show right now. 1 hour of this or 2 hours of this will make you money or will make me money, because there is somebody somewhere in any part of the world who need this information and don't know how to get it.
Yes.
But Crystal has taken time to produce this, to think about the show, to bring the show out so that person can get the information so they can be happy. But for you to come here and do this in the morning, Crystal, you prepared. You called the other day, then you called, then you prepared, then you get the camera person, then you get the sound guy, then to come here. You are very active by the time you get here. Your productive hours being used. Crystal, if you were big, fat, you're very slow at your decision making. This interview will start 3 hours later, 2 hours later, and you will not see any problem with it, because in your mind, that is the amount of information you can process. So if I put a test for you right now and say, eat Crystal, you're going to take that water. Okay? You're going to eat 2 fruits, 2 bananas. Those are potassium, 2. Potassium will slow down the release of energy, so you conserve energy for a longer period of work. Yes. So when you eat food, food must be converted, what I'm calling bioenergetics. Okay? It's commonly known as blood sugar or glycogen. You remove this food stored in your liver. So every now and then that you feel like you're running low on energy, your body sends a signal. Okay?
Letting you know.
Yes. Then it releases. Naturally, God has done it that way. So when we're young, we process food faster. The older we become, we process food slower. So you must understand your body. How does my body function?
Okay, okay.
Yes. Now, when I take this tea, is my brain functioning well or not? Now, you have got to be very careful, because there are 3 parts of the brain that is key for the functioning of a human being. Indians, you see them here, and Muslims, when they go down to pray, they say God lives here, and rightly so. It's where the wisdom part of the brain. There's a middle part of the brain. When we're young, it used to be like this. Then now, when we become older,
It was soft, and then it seals.
And then it seals. But it's still the middle part of the brain. It's called the emotional part of the brain. Now, that part of the brain is responsible for processing pain, pleasure, and anxiety.
Yes.
The back part of the brain is for memory. When Mose Radio was being killed by whoever killed him, they target. They knew exactly what to do. That if you hit the back of the head of a person, chances of them getting back are very minimal, and they will die.
Yes.
I'm using that example because it's very recent, it's fresh in everybody's mind, because he stayed in the hospital struggling to get back. Now, this middle part of the brain processes pain, pleasure, and anxiety. Many people become addicted because this part of the brain, which has these 3 things, is not being used well. So some people, it drives them to
seek
food.
For things that will give them.
So you see, it's responsible. You become anxious over something. One would say, Eddie, you arrived 30 minutes to this interview. You must have been anxious. No, I was totally in control of what I want, because I don't want to arrive here 10 minutes, 5 minutes, because
and then you're anxious and you feel like you're not ready.
Should there something be, and Crystal has this, I don't want Crystal to panic. I don't want to. So I have to get there early. Doesn't mean I am weak. No, I am strong. I'm in total control of things. But also I don't want to leave room for me to become anxious of something. So I drop what I'm doing, so I train my brain to function that way.
Okay.
So I'm not anxious. Whether you take me to an interview, whether you take me where, no. Because I've trained my brain to be like that. Number 2, it processes pleasure. Anything pleasurable. Sex is pleasurable. Food is pleasurable. That's why people eat them. Those 2 things are very... Now, food, unfortunately, some people become addicted because you are anxious over something. Your brain says, I need something to fill this spot.
Comfort eating.
Yes. And in that comfort, that's how people drift. So I eat 1 meal a day because I don't want my brain to be controlled by anything. Anything.
Well, he said this has taken many years, many years to get to.
Yes, I don't want my brain to be taken by anything. So whether you wake me up in the morning and say, Eddie Okila, I am looking for a solution for this. Crystal, I spend my time with people who have more money than I do. I spend my time with CEOs. I see all their weaknesses and all their problems. And they have the power over it, they can't. So I decided I'm not going to, I left the corporate line in 2006. I said, let me go private, because I think if I go this direction, I'm going to be so lost, because I could see it. Someone will say, yeah, that's the reason why you're not rich. But actually I'm not, because when I get to 40 and get to 42, 43, I'm going to become the best solution for somebody if I can keep myself alive. In the case of Uganda, if I stay for the next 10 years, probably become a very good resource for somebody tomorrow and for the country tomorrow, because I'm keeping myself fit and healthy, and I can function unless somebody killed me or take away something. Again, I'm training my brain to say, this is, I need to be controlled. Now, pain. Whenever somebody hits you with pain, pain comes in, 1, I just tell you something that hurts you.
Yeah.
And the way you process it, I will find you, Crystal, seated. You've seen these people, you find it in a restaurant with eating food. And they've taken their frustration to food. Then others go to alcohol. So is it possible for a human being to live that life without having that? Yes. But you need somebody to help you find those dots and connect them. And it's important that we do that. Yeah. So many of us live just life because the way it is. Now, I'm a very highly educated person. But you would never, I'm sure in your entire time that you've known me, you do not suspect that to be. Because I don't live it. So one time I showed up in the UK. And I had this thing of, okay, let me also go for Cheyo, make money, you know.
Yeah, let me try it out.
Did they not tell me that my degree cannot be allowed in the UK?
Oh.
Yes. You try it.
So
you're going to go back to school.
Good enough.
Yes.
Okay.
Then I showed up in the US when I went for training, so I was looking for what to do. They would take my senior 6 certificate. They never look at my degree document or my diploma. I'm like, what is going on? They evaluate. Then I realized senior 6 is the most important part of education. So, Crystal, thinking. Somebody thought about the education we have, left it here, and actually made sure that we have it. Our thinking is being controlled by somebody else. My job when I give you the workout is to give you that power that you have. To say, Crystal, you don't have to depend on me.
Okay.
If I give you this knowledge and I give you this wisdom and I give you what I have, if you practice it over and over, you will realize something that you would never realize, that you have more power, but you've given it out to somebody else.
Okay, and now I understand the health, leadership,
yes,
and fitness.
Yes.
Coaching.
How it connects, right?
Yes, how it all connects.
Yes.
Okay.
Because if I have education and I just say, okay, I'm an accountant, you will never get this out of me. Because somebody designed the way I would think, how I would respond, and box my head there.
Yeah, so we have to take it on ourselves to understand ourselves better, what our capabilities are,
Thank
and
you.
push ourselves.
Thank you. So you are not just meant to be a radio presenter.